Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roosevelt Field. This is homecoming night and also senior night for Norristown Area High School. We're going to try and show you some of the seniors first before we get into our football. First coming out on the field is number 59, Eric Benitez. Next after him, we have number 72, Nels Benton. We have number 84, Jaron Brazel. Number 50, one of the co-captains of this Norristown football team, Jamil Butler. We have number 57, Jim Davis, coming onto the field. Number 56 is Chris Durante coming onto the field. Number 69 is Jim DePiro. Number 17, the great receiver, James Edmonds. Number 8 is Brian Gordon. Number 2 is Sheldon Gray. We have number 9, Trey Hadrick. He's been such a vital part of this team this year. Number 87, Derek Hodo. In there we had number 11, Orlando Brown. Number 37, Jay King. 53 is Donovan Palmer. He began to start on the line this year. Of course, we have number 1, Troy Swittenberg, onto the field. Also in there, number 14, Matt Spitko. Number 67, Neil Haldeman. Number 25, Terry Powell. Number 15 is Mike Wilson. And number 51 is Kendis Williams. We now have our senior cheerleaders coming onto the field. Very spirited day at Norristown Area High School. A pep rally occurring during the day. Those cheerleaders were a big part of it, and a big part of the football games. One of the hardest men to miss on the field also, number 55, James Stewart. One of the seniors onto the field for the football team. Like I said, senior night here at Roosevelt Field. Always a special night for all these seniors. This is their last year. This may be their last home game, depending on what happens with the Norristown playoff situation, whether they will be playing Upper Merion or PW. Hopefully if they play neither, that means Norristown will be going farther on into playoffs. Now we have our senior band members coming onto the field. Let's run them down for you. Charles Chrisman, Dave Fry, Dave Gilday, Bill Hawkins, Sean Johnson McNutt, Mark Canoff, Alexis Petro, Samantha Riley, Gabe Savage, the drum major of the band, and Neil Haldeman, who came out with the football team doing double duty tonight. He went back into the locker room, but we want to recognize him for his band efforts also. At this time, I'd want to welcome Walt Fry, and we have a wet one on our hands tonight.
Yeah, it's a little damp for senior night, unfortunately. As they approach the place where they have to have their pictures taken, you see some parents dropping some umbrellas to have their picture taken, but special nonetheless. You can tell it's not affecting them too much, and it's certainly a night they're going to remember. Greg, I was just attacked by a moth. What kind of night is it going to be up here?
You think you're safe up in the booth. I think everybody down there is away from us and they're getting all the rain, and then we get the animals.
I'd rather be wet and alive.
And of course, tonight is homecoming. Like I mentioned before, always an emotional game for the seniors, and people tend to step up their play a little bit on the field for the seniors because they know that this is a special game and this is the one that everybody comes to see.
And combine that with the fact that it could be the final regular season home game, and they do step it up. We've seen Norristown in past years here really have tremendous games, and especially the seniors. The seniors have really picked it up. I can remember a couple of years ago just watching Will Gant, who was a tremendous two-way player, just play the game of his life. An incredible game. That one just happens to really stick out in my mind, and I think you'll see some seniors with some special efforts tonight as well.
And of course, the Norristown football team 6-0 this year, having only given up 7 points in the regular season. Another shutout last week of Methacton, 41-0. This is a team that's been a powerhouse all year. They're facing an Upper Dublin team that has gotten on a bit of a roll, but had some early season struggles.
Yeah, Upper Dublin's really turned their season around with 2 straight wins now. But Norristown certainly has established themselves as the class of the Suburban One American Liberty Division. And now they're the team after only 5 short league games that everyone's trying to knock off.
Norristown only 2 games away from, well, 3 actually. And yes, I would say only 3 because the Upper Marion game would be canceled if they made playoffs. Only 3 games away from an undefeated season in the league. People are saying that they're past the tough part of their schedule, the couple of teams who really could have given them some fits. 3 teams coming up, Souderton, Hatboro, Horsham, and of course tonight Upper Dublin. 3 teams that Norristown really can handle and just deal with and dispose of.
And the thing about this year's team is that they really seem to focus on every single game. I mean, to only give up 7 points in 6 games is absolutely incredible. And it's a team that does not show any signs of letdown. And I think after last year, coming up just short of the state playoffs in the District 1 4A semifinals, I think this team's really on a mission. It really looks like they have a true purpose. And I don't think it would have mattered much what league, what division they were going to play in this year, because this team really has come out and just taken it to every opponent. I mean, you beat who you play, and they've done it handily.
It's like Norristown going up against this Upper Dublin Cardinals team, which is coming onto the field right now. Like we mentioned earlier, Upper Dublin had a tough start to their year. Of course, coming up with 2 wins in the last 2 weeks against Cheltenham and Upper Moreland. Upper Dublin lost to the likes of Penridge, Hatboro, Horsham, and Upper Marion earlier in the year. But this is a team that's really started to get on a roll, and they're led by their running back, Monty Jesse, who was the Times Herald Player of the Week last year. So look for some good things from that running back tonight. Yeah,
last week with 205 yards, he certainly deserved it. Not the biggest guy in the world. He's a fairly small player at 5'6", but brings a lot of speed to the table. And it's going to be a real challenge for Norristown's defense. But I think they're going to be able to focus on Monty Jesse tonight. And the other thing is that we have yet to see how Monty Jesse runs. If he's a guy with a lot of cutbacks, the wet field might give him some trouble.
Norristown players coming out on the field, getting a great round of applause. We have the lineups here for both teams. Before we read them off, something I noticed earlier as I was looking at the lineups, Upper Dublin playing an interesting lineup, playing a 4-4 on defense, maybe to try and contain the Norristown running attack.
Absolutely, you can't blame anybody for bringing 8 guys up to the line of scrimmage. That's probably what you'll see. 4-4, it's going to be 8 guys in the box, right up on Troy Swittenberg and the Norristown offensive line. But you can't blame anybody for having 8 guys on that line of scrimmage when it's Troy Swittenberg running.
That Norristown line has really started to come together also in the last couple of games. This is a team that's starting to open holes for their running backs, no matter if it's Swittenberg, Samba, Gordon, anybody out of the backfield. This team is opening holes and really dominating on the line.
And it's a good line for Troy Swittenberg because they open holes quickly, and he hits the hole quickly. That's really all he needs. And we've said before that it's a line and a whole team, including the wide receivers and tight end Trey Hadrick, who love to block downfield. And with that kind of blocking and that kind of persistence, your running back's going to get a lot of yards.
So we're ready for the captains here. The 3 captains all year, of course, have been Trey Hadrick, Jamil Butler, and Troy Swittenberg. And of course, all those seniors, a tradition here at Roosevelt Field on senior night, they will be coming out on the field as honorary captains, walking behind the 3 major captains. The rain doesn't seem to have dampened anybody's spirits. It's pretty loud here tonight, and everybody seems ready to fight through the rain and have some fun tonight.
It's been raucous so far, and we're still probably 5 minutes away from kickoff, so that's a good sign.
Of course, homecoming weekend, always a time for alumni to come back to Norristown Area High School. Of course, we have one of our most famous alumnus in the booth with us tonight. Mr. Garrett Hickman is running camera, and we appreciate his efforts tonight. Flashbacks to last year?
In what way?
All right, I have no idea what I'm saying. We'll move on to the game, I guess.
The team effort, that's a flashback to last year. We'll have to wait and see if Garrett can run. Is that new equipment? Is that new equipment? Semi-new equipment. We'll have to see if Mr. Hickman has learned anything in his short college career.
Guess we're going to learn in 2.5 hours how quickly you can get the equipment to the car, too, in the rain. Norristown, with that 6-0 record, does have a obviously has a chance of making playoffs. This is a team that may get a first home game this year. It's a team that may get a first home game this year, like I said. Last year, of course, they had to go up to Penridge as they were the number 3 seed. This year, they may be the number 2 seed behind the Bucks.
Sure, with the schedule that they're playing and the way they're beating their opponents, you know, North Penn and Central Bucks West have to play each other. You presume somebody's going to lose that game. So Norristown, if they go through undefeated, you would think would then be 2nd seed behind what looks right now is going to be the winner of the Suburban 1 National, either North Penn or Central Bucks West. And of course, North Penn right there with Norristown, behind Central Bucks West in state rankings, certainly area rankings, the 2 right there. Norristown is in fact on top of North Penn in the Times Herald top 10. But in a lot of state polls, you're going to see North Penn 3rd and Norristown 4th. And that's just going to be that way, I think, until one of them has a close game or one of them, of course, loses.
Norristown receiving to start off the game. Deep men, as always, will be number 5, Audley Stewart, and number 1, Troy Swittenberg. The kicker for the Cardinals is number 49, Derek Aluski. There's the whistle, and here we go. Homecoming game has begun. Kick is taken by Stewart. He finds a seam up the middle. He'll spin to the outside. A good run back from Audley Stewart, and Norristown will start off with great field position to start this game. To run down the lineups for you, of course, the man who just ran back the ball is the quarterback of this team, number 5, Audley Stewart. 2 men in the backfield, number 7, Lou Samba, is the fullback, and number 1, Troy Swittenberg, of course, the tailback. 2 receivers tonight are James Edmonds and Ricky Crete. The tight end is Trey Hadrick, and across the line we have Matt DePiro, Jameel Butler, Chris Durant, Kirk Berry, and Donovan Palmer. So Norristown will start out from the 43-yard line. No more you can ask for to start the game. Try and pin the Cardinals on their heels. Stewart rolls outside. He's going to run upfield. He's got himself a first down. So fooled all the Cardinals as they all pulled to that far sideline. Stewart on the keeper gets about 11 yards for a first down.
And Norristown, on the rare occasions that they have thrown the ball this year, they've certainly shown that they can be a threat for the big play through the air. So you have to respect that, and in turn, that's going to open up some running lanes for Audley Stewart.
One play in Norristown over midfield. Toughest job tonight in the whole stadium is keeping that ball dry for the players. 45-yard line of the Cardinals. Stewart, hand off to Swittenberg. He won't get away as he's wrapped up. That 8-man front. Trying to hold up Swittenberg. We'll run down that 8-man front, and also the 3 D-backs. Tim O'Hara, Zach Hofstein, Craig Holmes, and Greg Furman are across the line. The 4 linebackers, the outsiders are Bobby Logano and Chris Engert. The inside linebackers, Brian Brady and John Brandenburg. 3 men in the backfield are Casey Donoval, Idris Amir, and Tim Saber. Loss of 1, we'll say on that play. 2nd and 11. Backs are in the eye for Norristown. Stewart, a quick 3-step drop. Looking for Edmonds. Unfortunately, overthrew him out there. I like that play call from Norristown, though. Quick little drop and see if you can get James Edmonds one-on-one out there.
Yeah, the safety for Upper Dublin is going to have his hands full tonight. He's going to have to help out on either side if Norristown decides to throw the ball, because they have all 4 linebackers committed to stopping the run until Norristown shows that they can beat them otherwise.
3rd and 11 for Norristown. 2 receivers will come to this side, Preet and Edmonds. Stewart rolls to the near sideline. He's gonna run, runs over a defender and gets a 1st down. Ole Stewart with the running skills, runs over number 9, Chris Engert. The run of a running back right there. Just put his head down and said, I'm getting to the 1st down marker and there's nothing you can do to stop me.
And that's the great thing, is that Ole Stewart is very decisive, makes up his mind. Looks like he's had the option to pass tonight. It's not a naked boot, it's not a pure bootleg where he's out to just run. He has the option to throw the ball. If the man is covered, it looks like he's going to take down the sideline. And when he decides to, he becomes a running back.
So Stewart has gotten them 2 1st downs here. They get to the 31-yard line. The pitch to Swittenberg. Can he get to the outside? Upper Dublin just keying on Troy Swittenberg. There looked like number 45, John Brandenburg, got in on that play.
And that's why Norristown has decided to threaten to throw the ball and give Ole Stewart the option to run. Upper Dublin has brought 8 guys up and said, Norristown, beat us with a run. So right now, there's no sense in beating up your line and beating up Troy Swittenberg. Norristown is moving the ball well, and they're going to try and spread out that Upper Dublin defense, and then you'll see them attack with Troy Swittenberg.
Like you alluded to before, always a tough night for the running backs. Field is a little slicker and tough to make that short little cutback. Stewart back to pass. Good presence over the middle of the Preet. He gets drilled just short of a 1st down, but good presence from Audley Stewart. First time we've seen him tonight drop back to pass and be successful. Drop back, stood in the pocket, and hit Ricky Preet over the middle.
And it was a beautiful pocket, and Audley Stewart was very patient with it. I think Ricky Preet was his main option that time, and Preet just ran a nice little 10-yard hook. Settled down inside that zone, so even with those 8 guys up tight, Norristown is still spreading that defense out, and Ricky Preet found some space behind the linebackers.
Referee's out to measure, and it's a 1st down for Norristown. They got exactly 10 on that play. Now from the 20-yard line, Norristown within striking distance. And you know, this Norristown team likes to try and put teams away early. That's something that they've done this year, putting up some big 1st quarters.
Well, wouldn't you with a defense like that? It makes things very easy when you can get points up on the board. And boy, you put up 14, you're feeling pretty good with this defense.
It's hard to believe that Norristown defense can gain more confidence, but having 7 points behind them really does help. Swittenberg, nothing on the play. Number 48, Brian Brady, the tackler. So I'm sure the Cardinals knew about Troy Swittenberg going into this game. That's been their game plan. Fortunately, Audley Stewart has 22 yards on the ground. We'll go 2nd and 10, no gain on the play for Swittenberg. Stewart back to pass once again. over the middle for Edmonds. He had 4 guys around him and almost got to that ball, but an incomplete pass right there.
Well, James Edmonds is an attractive target over the middle with that size. But Norristown had the corner wide open that time. And Upper Dublin was really playing hard on that slant. And Audley Stewart throwing the safe pass where only James Edmonds could catch it. Don't want to risk the interception down this close to the goal line.
That is the nice thread about having a receiver that's about 6'3", 6'4". You can throw that ball over the middle. You don't have to worry about it getting picked off if you throw that high in the air. 3rd and 10. Stewart the drop. Tries to get away from pressure, and he is tackled. May have gotten a yard on the scamper. Now in a decision for Coach Grove on 4th down. Here comes the field goal team.
And this is a tough effort to kick a field goal in what's going to be about 37 yards on this wet field. Matt Spitko is going to have to be very careful with his plant foot and really lay into one through the rain.
Ryan Blake, the holder for Spitko. Kick is up. And it is no good, just short, it appears. Looked like if they had gotten a couple more yards, that might have gone in. Unfortunately for Norristown, no points on the board after a nice little drive. Now Upper Dublin will start from their 20-yard line. And down the Upper Dublin team for you, the quarterback is number 3, Justin Brandenburg. The running back, Monty Jesse, who of course had a big week last week against Cheltenham. Fullback is John Brandenburg. The 2 receivers are Bobby Logano, is 81, and Warren Miller is number 23, and the tight end is Greg Furman. First down for the Cardinals. Receivers are split. Handoff will go to Jesse. Up the middle. He gets about 3 yards, but then he's pushed back. Tough to see a guy who's 5'6" try and get through that hole.
Yeah, you're going to have to get low.
Funny thing is he goes in that hole, and if you see him come out, you know it's going to be a big play. Second and 7, we'll call it. Man in motion coming to the near side. Brandenburg back to pass. He is hit hard. Almost picked off right there by number 50, Jameel Butler. Brandenburg was hit hard by number 25, Terry Powell. Good pressure from Norristown. Let's run down that Norristown defense for you. The 5 across the front. Mike Wilson, Eric Benitez, Chris Durant, James Stewart, and Terry Powell, the 2 linebackers. Always so important in this system. Jameel Butler and Lou Samba. The corners are Troy Swittenberg and Audley Stewart. And 2 of the biggest safeties I've ever seen in my life in high school football, James Edmonds and Trey Hadrick. Third and 7 for Upper Dublin.
And this will be a real test to be down in your own end in the rain. A 3rd and 7 against this defense. You wonder, will they play it safe? Just start with a defensive battle or really go for that first down?
Pitch to Jesse to this side. And they are not going to let him upfield. Number 50, Jameel Butler, coming over to the far side. Number 25, Terry Powell, in on the play also. 4th down, and Upper Dublin will punt. Well, it's a tough thing for Upper Dublin. They came out. The first pass play you throw is almost intercepted. As that ball had been picked off, that was an easy 6 for Norristown. Puts a little bit of doubt in your head coach's mind.
Yeah, this defense will make you wonder, you know, exactly what you have, but it looked like Brandenburg had a receiver that time and just overthrew him. So they're certainly not in a spot where they've spent all their bullets just yet.
Flag before the kick is off. The punter is number 84, Greg Furman. Two men deep for Norristown are Stewart and Edmonds. A false start on Upper Dublin. That will drive them back 5 more yards, giving Norristown even better field position off of the punt. So we'll try it again on 4th and 13 now. Low snap, Furman handles it well, gets off a pretty good kick. Well, they'll let it bounce. Stewart picked it up. Number 33, John Slezak makes the tackle. So no gain on the run back. Norristown will start from the 46-yard line. Rain not letting up. It appears to even be getting heavier. Field is going to get even slicker by the end of the night.
And I think that's why you see these two teams just sort of taking it easy. I'm not going to go for anything too much just yet.
Well, first down, backs in the eye. They'll go to Swittenberg. There we see the conditions affecting the run right there. He tried to cut back and he slipped. Lost a couple of yards. Going to use the old cliche, feeling each other out in the first quarter to try and see what each team has and hope the rain will settle down a little bit.
Yeah, and you see what the field conditions are too. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's going to be slippery just because it's wet or just because it's raining. But you do have to be careful, and you don't want anybody to go down too hard or cause yourself a turnover.
Stewart back to pass. Pump fake, he'll swing it out to the fullback, Brian Gordon. He tries to get away, he slips. Unfortunately, that knee was down. If only this were professional football, he'd still be going. Stewart on that pass going to a safety man, Brian Gordon. He looked downfield, a little bit of a pump fake, and Brian Gordon was obviously the screenplay on that. And
Arlie Stewart dropped back deep like it was going to be a screenplay, but Upper Dublin wasn't coming real hard. So once Stewart swung it out to Brian Gordon, there were plenty of players there in white jerseys to at least force Gordon to the ground.
Seem to have found the only thing that can slow down the Norristown offense, the rain. 3rd and 11. Stewart rolls to his left. He's got pressure, and he is sacked. Number 9 was coming off of the corner. That is Chris Engert. He appeared to be unblocked, and nobody picked him up. Stewart really no time right there to deliver a ball.
That was great pressure off the end, and really coming from both sides. And once the pocket was broken, then the middle sort of collapsed on Arlie Stewart as well. So he had nowhere even to step up into the pocket or try to find a running lane.
Norristown will punt now. Number 9, Trey Hadrick, doing the punting duties. Hadrick gets off a very good punt, driving the receiver back. And a great tackle right there, 77. That was Kirk Barry flying downfield to tackle number 23, Warren Miller. Kirk Barry, a pretty big guy to be running downfield, making that tackle. He's 6'4", 220. You see one, if that's the second guy you see coming down the field, that's pretty scary.
He brought all 220 that time. A great special teams hit. Really found the line as the receiver even tried to get to the outside. But Barry lined him up and cut off his angle nicely.
So from the 33 now, Upper Dublin trying to get something started. Brandenburg, quick drop. Passes out to number 81, Bobby Logano. Once again, that safe pass. Not going for anything complicated, just trying to get a couple of yards and get the ball moving.
And Upper Dublin really seems to have a plan so far. I know it's only their 2nd series and really their 4th play, but they really seem to have a plan of what they're trying to do against Norristown. They know it's not a team that you can get big yardage on quickly. So they're going to try to chip away little by little and maybe just get themselves into a field position battle here as they're now 15 yards away from midfield.
First team we've seen come out and really be patient with Norristown, waiting for them to make a mistake. Pitch to Jesse. Well, I thought he was down, but he got 3 or 4 yards after the play. Wet jersey plus a 5'6" running back equals a couple of missed tackles in there.
And Norristown had just learned a lesson right there, and that's it. You really have to wrap up Monty Jesse. Some guys will go down with just a good hit. Monty Jesse just squirmed out of an arm tackle that time. Got a couple more yards. So like Troy Swittenberg, although much smaller, he's a guy who's going to keep his feet moving and a guy you're really going to have to wrap up.
3rd and 6 for Upper Dublin. Brandenburg back to pass. Looks over the middle to the big tight end. That's Greg Furman. Upper Dublin's first down of the night. Greg Furman, a nice target over the middle at 6'4", 231. Nice guy you want to be your tight end. So 1st and 10 from midfield. For Dublin chipping away at the Norristown defense right now. Brandenburg, the handoff to Jesse. Tried to get outside, and there was a Norristown tackler right there on the field. Would not let him go.
Great penetration by Eric Benitez to get inside there, behind the line of scrimmage, and get low on Jesse. And as we said, he wrapped him up. So even though some help was coming from his teammates, he was the first guy in there. And by wrapping Jesse around the legs, he was struggling to get out. But it's the kind of guy you have to hit low and hit early to keep him from breaking away and making some big yards.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. Man in motion is Miller. The handoff goes to Jesse. He runs into a pile of people, gets forward for a couple. We've not seen a lot of teams run the ball in Norristown. When you do get up against a team who can move the ball a little bit on the ground, it's really important for those 3 defensive tackles in this system to get forward.
But against Norristown, you have to be versatile. You have to be able to throw the ball and run the ball, throw it to different places. Now we've seen Upper Dublin go out to the wide receiver screen. We've seen him go straight down the middle to the tight end. And we've seen Jesse go left, right, and up the middle. So that's what you have to do against this defense, is really try and spread them out and attack in different ways.
Brandenburg back to pass. James Stewart got to the quarterback. James Stewart with the first sack of the night for the Eagles. There we go, talking about that penetration. James Stewart for a loss of about 10. Upper Dublin will punt once again.
And that time with Upper Dublin in a passing situation. Great defensive call by the Norristown coaches to send James Stewart on a blitz. Brandenburg thought he could outrun Stewart around the corner. But faster or not, this is the kind of night where it's going to be very tough to turn the corner, and James Stewart is certainly a mobile defensive lineman. And Brandenburg just slipped down before Stewart even got to him.
Upper Dublin has not come out with anything different and anything spectacular to try and win this game tonight. They've come out with 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, send the tight end over the middle. They have not gone to any kind of different system. It appears that this is a team that really, this is a team that's sticking with their game plan.